Welcome back. Well, we're staying with the development story from the Free State, where residents of Jagersfontein are being evacuated following a mine dam burst in that area. Now let's get an update. We're now joined via Zoom by Sipho Towa, Emergency Medical Services spokesperson in the Free State. Sipho, thank you so much for your time. Perhaps let's start here. Just confirmation in terms of how many people have been reportedly killed, during this incident, because we just spoke to the Director General, who says in their reports they currently have one person who has died and two others who are missing. Just give us the very latest in terms of what you are hearing and seeing on the ground.
Yeah, thank you very much. The first challenge that we are faced with is communication with the ground resources. But therefore, one can confirm, as the Director General has mentioned, that 3 bodies were recovered, and one of the bodies was declared dead on scene. The other 2, they were taken to the hospital. So we're still waiting for updates in terms of how they are doing. So that's the latest that we have.
Now, in terms of people who have been injured, we understand up to the region of 35, even close to 40 people have been taken to various hospitals in the area. Just talk to us about, just from a rescue and emergency service perspective, what are you dealing with in terms of those that have been injured and rushed to hospitals, and also those that are presumed missing?
What we're dealing with is those who are injured. It's more of they have been treated for hypothermia, and we have only 4 that had fractures, which I think they'll be the ones that will spend some time at the hospitals. Other than that, and then there was also a lady who's pregnant, but she's stable and she's been transferred to another hospital. So the rest of the patients that are being treated for hypothermia is patients that will be released after observation. We then think that only the few will then have a longer stay at the hospital. In terms of search and rescue, we also need to mention we're lucky that the water has subsided. So with that, it's allowing our crews and our resources to can move within the area to continue with the search and rescue of the victims.
What are the people saying to you, those that, of course, have been rescued miraculously so? Because if you're looking at those videos, the force of the water and the mud was quite extensive, which is why several roads have also been damaged, as well as, houses that have been swept away. I mean, you're treating them for hypothermia. This happened at 6 a.m. in the morning. What are they saying? How long were they in the water? What are they telling you? They
actually quite still traumatized. And we also like to also mention that social development is there with social services. They are getting psychosocial support. And it's an experience that they were not expecting, and it's something that they did not foresee coming. So with that, we were also lucky that a majority of them were given signs to can vacate their households, because the first 2 streets at Charlesville, which is the most affected, most of the houses have been swept away of the houses. So majority of them managed to get away. There's 2 that were also injured. They had mentioned that they were trying to rescue one of the elderly women that was swept away by the water. And so they couldn't because of the high current of the water. So they've suffered some bruises as well and some knocks here and there. But they were very, 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 very in a bad state. But they're getting psychosocial support, as I've mentioned.
How difficult is it for you as emergency services to try and even attempt to do a search and a rescue mission, just given the extent of the damage, and of course that there is, water, in most of the places that you would probably be doing your search?
The guys that we've deployed are guys that are trained for such eventualities and terrain. So we have quite a good faith and belief in them that they will execute their duties with excellence. Some of them were part of the team that went to assist in KZN recently. So it's actually highly skilled and highly trained officers that are currently dealing with the situation there.
Just in terms of the conversation that we had earlier with the Director General in the Free State, in terms of them requesting assistance from the SANDF, is that something that you have requested? Is that something that is needed currently?
With the resources that we have currently, I would say we are managing. And I think it's a decision that will be made later and through the joint operations. And it's not a sole decision that one can make. But I'm relatively confident to say that the resources that we've deployed there by now, they are handling the situation currently very well.
As we wrap this conversation, we understand, of course, just from an infrastructure perspective, the damage that has been caused, that there is no electricity in most parts of the town. Are you worried that this will hamper in your search and rescue?
We had deployed additional resources which will assist with lightning as the guys continue, and we've also dispatched a communications booster. So in terms of communication amongst the rescuers, we are currently dealing with that and handling that. And with lightning as well, we've already started deploying additional resources which will assist with that. The biggest challenge in terms of communication is that, however, we'll then also source additional fuels for the generators that are running there so that we keep them running throughout the operation.
All right, Sipho, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Sipho Towa, Emergency Medical Services spokesperson in the Free State, of course, talking about that disaster in that area in Jagersfontein.